Fragments of time. Nestled in a vibrant corner of the Japanese garden at the San Francisco Botanical Garden, Serena Tanaka swirled her wine glass, listening to the soft rustle of bamboo as twilight descended. 20 years had passed since she first laid eyes on Kaya St. John, the woman who had captured her heart. And yet, a heavy weight settled upon her chest as she recalled their secret love, extinguished when Kaya married a man just 3 months ago. With their friends scheduled for a reunion in San Francisco in 10 weeks, Serena had vowed to cut the emotional cords tethering her to the past. But as fate would have it, she encountered Gina O'Sullivan, the only woman, apart from Kaya, with whom she had ever envisioned a life together. 16 years earlier, their relationship had spiraled from casual encounters into a passionate love that neither of them had been prepared for. And the day Gina ended it had left scars deeper than Serena had cared to admit. Serena took a deep breath, reminding herself that the past was a shadowy landscape of unfinished business and regret. Sliding her phone into her clutch, she strolled toward the illuminated expanse of the garden, the flickering lanterns casting delicate shapes over the sleek pathways. She had come to the gala to connect with colleagues but found herself retreating into memories instead. As she rounded a corner, Gina appeared before her like a dream rendered in dazzling technicolor. With long raven locks framing her striking features and a crimson dress that clung to her body, the sight of her nearly knocked the breath from Serena's lungs. The familiarity of Gina's signature scent, an intoxicating blend of sandalwood and jasmine, washed over her, stirring up a rush of emotions that had long lain dormant. Serena Tanaka. As enchanting as ever, I see. Gina stepped closer, her voice a melodic blend of mischief and warmth that set off a ripple of longing within Serena. Well, the garden certainly helps, Serena replied, her voice barely above a whisper. It seems like a lifetime since we last met. 16 years, if memory serves. Though it feels like yesterday, don't you think? Gina's lips curled into a teasing grin, but her eyes held a depth that betrayed a lingering affection. Serena had consistently pushed thoughts of Gina to the background, convinced that those moments of heart-pounding passion had been a mere illusion. Yet, standing before her now, all those emotions surged back. And yet, here we are, both single at the same time. What an extraordinary twist of fate. Gina tilted her head, the playful spark in her eyes dimmed by a shadow of seriousness. So, what have you been up to all these years, apart from avoiding me? Serena's breath hitched. I've been working in the gallery scene, curating exhibits, finding new artists. And you? I've become an art consultant, traveling the world and discovering talent. But that's boring talk. What I really want to know is, what happened after I left? Gina's words hung in the air, bold and unyielding. Serena winced at the sudden intrusion of their shared past. I tried to move on. I thought I was over you, but every brushstroke I applied to my canvases was a reminder of what we had. I didn't realize how much I missed you until now. Gina stepped even closer, the distance between them dissolving. And what about Kaya? Surely she's still lingering in your heart. Serena swallowed hard. Kaya is married now. I was foolish to think that what we had could last forever. I'm trying to let go, but seeing you again stirs everything up. A silence hung between them, charged and electric, as though the air crackled with unsaid words. Gina took a step back, her brow furrowing. After everything that happened, I didn't think I would see you again, let alone in this way. You left so suddenly, Serena murmured. I didn't know how to find you. I had to go after realizing we were more than just a fleeting romance. But with my new life, I thought I'd buried those feelings. Gina took a breath and her voice softened. So, what do we do now? Serena felt a surge of courage. Let's not let another decade go by without figuring it out. I want to explore this again. Can we meet for dinner tomorrow? Gina's smile returned, brightening her entire face. Only if you promise that my heart won't end up broken again. Serena's heart raced. I can't promise the world, but I'm willing to try. After all, we have more than just fragments of time left to play with. Then it's a date, Gina replied, her eyes shimmering with excitement. As they exchanged tentative touches, Serena felt a thrill she hadn't imagined she could still experience. Ghosts of the past began to fade, replaced by the warmth of what could yet be. The twilight settled over the Japanese garden, almost as if it was sealing a promise, and they stepped deeper into the night, hearts entwined in a fragile yet hopeful dance. The next evening, the dimly lit restaurant buzzed with the gentle hum of conversation and the clinking of silverware against fine china. Serena arrived first, her heart fluttering in anticipation and nerves. She chose a private booth tucked away in a corner, where the golden light from the overhead lamps cast a warm glow across the table adorned with delicate cherry blossom motifs. She nervously fiddled with her phone, glancing at the time, 7 o'clock. Gina had always been punctual, a trait Serena admired about her. Just as she began to contemplate whether she should order a drink to calm her nerves, the familiar, intoxicating scent of sandalwood and jasmine enveloped her. "Sorry I'm late," Gina said breathlessly as she slid into the booth across from Serena. Her raven hair fell softly over her shoulder, and her deep blue dress hugged her form perfectly. "I got caught in traffic." "Don't worry about it," Serena replied, a smile breaking free, as she gazed into Gina's eyes. Those deep pools of blue felt like home. "I was just enjoying the ambience." Gina smiled back, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "So you don't mind if I kept you waiting?" "That sounds promising." Their shared laughter filled the space between them, easing the tension that had threatened to drown Serena before. The waiter approached and they perused the menu, both opting for the signature sushi platter. As they lingered over drinks, the conversation ebbed and flowed effortlessly. "So tell me about your globe-trotting adventures as an art consultant," Serena encouraged, leaning in, genuinely fascinated. Gina's face lit up as she talked about her travels through Europe, discovering hidden talents in bustling art markets and elegant galleries alike. "Last year, I stumbled upon an artist in Milan who created breathtaking sculptures from scrap metal. It's amazing how art can transform the most mundane materials into something beautiful." Serena's heart warmed to hear how passionate Gina was about her work. It stirred memories of long conversations they once shared, filled with dreams and aspirations. "It sounds like you've found your calling," she said earnestly. "And what about you? What's new in your world besides curating?" Gina's gaze shifted to the flickering candle at the center of the table. There was a small pause as Serena chose her words carefully. "It's complicated. Since Kaya, I've been re-evaluating everything, my career, my relationships. I've found myself painting again, actually. Just a few pieces inspired by the feelings I couldn't shake about the two of you." "You paint?" Gina's eyes widened, sparkling with interest. "I had no idea. When can I see them?" "Maybe I'll let you visit my studio after dinner. I've been trying to find my voice again, and that's where I feel most at home. It's probably my best-kept secret at this point." The waiter returned with their sushi platter, which they both took a moment to admire. As they enjoyed the beautiful array of colors and flavors, they delved deep into conversations about their pasts and futures, sharing more than they had anticipated. "I never moved on from you, you know," Gina admitted softly, her brow slightly creased. "It took me years to find someone who could inspire me the way you did. But Northwest One came close." Serena's heart raced, the air around them thickening with unspoken sentiments. "I thought I had let you go completely," she confessed, "but seeing you again stirred up feelings that never truly disappeared." "I'm terrified, Gina." "Terrified of what?" Gina asked, leaning forward with an intensity that drew Serena in. "Of opening myself up again, of falling in love, especially when I haven't fully resolved my feelings for Kaya." Gina reached across the table, her fingers brushing against Serena's. "You can't live in the past, Serena. And I don't want to pressure you, but I know we can create something new together. Something better." Serena's breath hitched at the warmth flooding her chest. She desperately wanted to believe in that possibility, to let the ghost of her past rest and embrace a future that could be filled with the brightness that only Gina could bring. "Well, if we're talking about starting anew," Serena trailed off, biting her lip. "I've been thinking about an art show. one that reflects the journey of love and loss through different mediums. Maybe you could help me with it. Gina grinned, her eyes lighting up with inspiration. That's a brilliant idea. I know just the artists, some could even have their work showcased alongside yours. It could be an incredible experience. Serena's heart raced at the thought of collaborating with Gina. But just as quickly, the weight of reality pressed down upon her. What if I can't fully commit to you? Gina's expression softened, understanding flooding her features. We don't need to rush into anything. Let's take it one step at a time. I want you to walk into this with clear intentions, whatever that may be. As they finished their meal, the conversation slowed, both women lost in thought. The buzz of the restaurant faded into the background, creating a space just for them. A few moments later, Gina glanced out the window to where the city lights twinkled like stars above. You know, Serena, I've always believed that timing is everything. Maybe the universe is giving us a second chance. Serena released a breath she didn't know she was holding. She could feel her past loosening its grip on her. I hope so, Gina. I truly hope so. As they left the restaurant, the city around them pulsed with energy and hope. With a playful nudge, Gina wrapped her arm around Serena's waist. Come on, let's head to your studio. I want to see how you've turned your emotions into art. Serena laughed, the lightness in her heart imbued with a renewed sense of possibility. Hand in hand, they wandered through the streets, embarking on a journey of rediscovery. With every step, Serena dared to reimagine what her future could hold, exciting, unpredictable, and most importantly, shared with the woman who had been a fragment of her heart for so many years. And as they reached the studio, with excitement and inspiration swirling between them, they both knew that love, though fragile and complicated, could still blossom beautifully, given the right care and time. As Serena unlocked the door to her studio, she felt a rush of anticipation that mingled with the faint scent of oil paints and varnish. The space was modest but filled with character, whitewashed walls adorned with her earlier works, capturing fragments of her emotions over the years. It was here, within these four walls, that she had poured her heart onto canvas, and now, with Gina by her side, it felt like the weight of the past was beginning to lift. Gina stepped inside, eyes wide with curiosity, as she took in the room. Wow, this is beautiful, she murmured, running her fingers lightly along the edge of a wide canvas draped against the wall. The colors, a riot of blues and yellows, invoked a seaside sunset that seemed to breathe life into the space. I worked on that during the pandemic, Serena admitted, an edge of pride creeping into her voice. It was a way to escape, to express the turmoil of those days. It's called resilience. Gina turned to her, admiration evident in her gaze. You have such a strong sense of color and emotion. I can feel the warmth and hope radiating from it. It's breathtaking. Her words struck a chord deep within Serena, igniting a familiar spark. Thank you. I was just trying to capture the light. As they wandered further into the studio, Gina paused by another unfinished canvas. It was partially shrouded in a cloth, vibrant strokes peeking out from beneath. What's this one? Serena felt a flutter in her chest. That's a work in progress. I haven't quite figured it out yet. She hesitated before lifting the cloth to reveal a tumultuous scene, waves crashing against darkened rocks, an abstract representation of inner conflict. Gina stepped closer, examining the piece. This feels raw, like you're still working through something. I think it's incredible, Serena. I guess you could say that, Serena replied, feeling a rush of vulnerability as she admitted, it's a reflection of how I've felt these last months, lost between the past and the uncertainty of the future. Gina's expression softened. She stepped beside Serena, their shoulders brushing, and placed a comforting hand on her arm. You're not alone in those feelings. I've been there too, especially after I left. I thought I had everything figured out, but life has a way of throwing curveballs, doesn't it? The connection between them ignited anew, like embers stoked into a fire. Serena looked at Gina, feeling the weight of unsaid thoughts pressing against her chest. You mean the world to me, Gina. But I'm just scared of losing you again. Gina turned, searching Serena's eyes with a sincerity that made her heart race. I won't run away this time, I promise. If we take this slow, embracing all the uncertainties, I believe we can create something beautiful together. Taking a deep breath, Serena felt the corners of her mouth curve into a tentative smile. All right, let's do this together. I have a lot of ideas for this show. It's about exploring love in its many forms, and I'd love for you to be part of it. Count me in, Gina said with fervor. Let's brainstorm. With that, they slipped into the creative rhythm that had fueled their relationship years earlier, bouncing ideas off one another like a game. As the night wore on, laughter echoed through the studio, mingling with the scent of paints and turpentine. Each shared story, every hearty laugh chipped away at the barriers they had built around their hearts. Hours flew by as they played with colors, sketched ideas, and exchanged dreams. Gina suggested vibrant color palettes to reflect different stages of love, warm hues for passion, cool shades for heartbreak. Let's capture all of it, she urged, biting into a snack that Serena had laid out earlier. Let's show the beauty in the messiness. Eventually, the conversation shifted, becoming more intimate. They sat across from each other on well-worn stools, paint on their hands and faces, sharing memories of college, of yearning, and of the love that had once slipped through their fingers. Do you remember that rainy night we stayed up talking about dreams? Serena recalled, her gaze drifting into the memory. Gina laughed, a lilting sound filled with nostalgia. How could I forget? You made me promise I'd go to Paris. That's the first time I knew I was falling for you. I had never met anyone who could weave dreams into words like you. I think we should go, Serena said impulsively. To Paris. Together. Gina's eyes widened, shock turning to exhilaration. Are you serious? Why not? Let's take this show on the road. I've always wanted to exhibit abroad, and there's something about Paris, the art, the love, the history. We could make it a creative retreat. Just the two of us. I love the idea. Gina exclaimed, her enthusiasm infectious. And it could be the perfect backdrop for everything we want to express. Serena's pulse quickened as she began to visualize the gallery filled with their work under the Parisian sky. The thought stirred something within her, a flicker of hope and excitement. We could spend time in the vibrant streets of Montmartre, sketching, painting, and letting the city inspire us again. Yes. And we can cruise the Seine at night, letting the city lights dance on the water. Serena watched Gina's face light up, a cascade of fond memories filling her. You've always loved the Seine, she remarked softly. Ever since I was a child. The stories it could tell, Gina replied wistfully, her gaze drifting outside toward the window. I dreamt of painting there one day. And maybe this time, there won't be anything holding us back. With the moonlight spilling through the studio windows, casting ethereal patterns across the floor, the air thickened with promise. Serena could hardly believe how swiftly Gina had rekindled the joy that had long felt extinguished in her heart. Let's make it happen, Serena breathed, her resolve growing more palpable. Let's not waste any more time. Gina smiled, a radiant expression that concealed so many unspoken promises. I'll find us a gallery in Paris, and we'll share our stories. We can do this together. Together. The word reverberated through Serena's heart, echoing of hope and new beginnings. With each passing moment, she felt the ghosts of the past fade away under the luminous glow of their shared aspirations. Later, after Gina had left and the studio door clicked softly behind her, Serena stood alone, surrounded by canvases filled with remnants of longing and heartbreak. But now, she saw them through a new lens, those fragments were woven into the vibrancy of possibility. As she sank into her chair, exhaustion brushed against her, yet exhilaration coursed through her veins. With a newfound clarity, she picked up a brush, letting her instincts guide her. The colors flowed, intertwined with dreams yet unformed, and for the first time in a long while, Serena fully embraced the uncertainty of what lay ahead. With each stroke, she painted not just images, but echoes of a second chance, a chance for love to bloom once again. In that sacred space, she welcomed the tidal wave of hope, freely allowing her heart to remember the power of connection, passion, and the exhilarating risk of opening up to someone all over again. The future felt alive, electric, and as the moon illuminated the night, Serena Tanaka felt ready to embrace everything that was yet to be. The weeks flew by in a flurry of activity as Serena and Gina threw themselves into preparations for their upcoming exhibit. Every day they found themselves immersed in creative discussions, passionate debates about art, and moments where laughter echoed through the studio like music. Inspired by their shared vision, the canvases began to fill with vivid colors and raw emotions, each piece a reflection of their journey through love, loss, and rediscovery. Nights spent under the warm light of the studio morphed into brainstorming sessions that, at times, became as intimate and electric as the artwork they created. One afternoon, after a particularly grueling session filled with spilled paints and laughter, Gina looked at Serena, her eyes glinting with mischief. "You know, I think we should have our own opening night to celebrate finishing the exhibit, just the two of us." Serena laughed, nodding eagerly. "That sounds perfect. Just us, a bottle of wine, and our art. What could be better?" They planned a quiet evening in the studio, transforming the space into an intimate gallery. They hung the finished pieces, meticulously arranging them, as they each contemplated the stories behind their creations. With their favorite music playing softly in the background, the atmosphere filled with warmth and anticipation. When the evening arrived, Gina brought a bottle of champagne, with Serena providing an array of delectable cheeses and fruits. After arranging everything, they stood back, observing the new gallery, a mixture of both their styles reflected in every brushstroke. "This feels surreal," Gina said, her voice barely above a whisper as she took in the soft illumination of the art pieces and the essence of their combined labor. "I can't believe we did this." Serena nodded, a sense of pride swelling in her chest. "It's more than just art. It's a testament to everything we've been through, the good and the bad." As the night progressed, they toasted to every piece, each representing a different aspect of their journey and the evolution of their connection. Serena raised her glass, a sparkle in her eye. "To us, to second chances and new beginnings." "To us," Gina replied, and their glasses clinked gently, the sound resonating like a promise in the air. As they lingered over the wine and charcuterie, the conversation flowed seamlessly from casual banter into deeper discussions. They touched on their dreams, hopes and fears, drifting from playful teasing to contemplative silence as they gazed at their artwork. At one moment, amidst the quiet, Gina looked over at Serena with a soft smile. "Do you think Paris will really change everything?" Serena pondered for a moment. "I think it's already changing us. It's about more than the city, it's about the journey we're on together. Facing our pasts, embracing the present. That's worth everything." Gina's eyes flickered in acknowledgement, a silent understanding passing between them. The air thickened with unspoken feelings, the distance between them closing further. "Serena," Gina began, her voice low and trembling slightly. "I know we took this one step at a time, but I want you to know that I'm all in. I'm here for the long haul, if you'll have me." Serena's heart raced as the walls she had built began to crumble under the weight of Gina's earnest gaze. "You have no idea how much that means to me. I didn't just want this to be a summer fling, Gina. I want to build something real. A partnership in and out of art." Her heart pounded as she closed the distance between them, capturing Gina's hand in her own. "I've never stopped loving you. Not for a moment. I've just been scared." Gina's thumb brushed over Serena's knuckles, sending a delightful shiver through her. "Me too. But we can build something beautiful together. As long as we're honest and open with each other." Feeling a rush of warmth, Serena leaned in, letting the moment envelop them. Their lips met gently, igniting a spark that had lain dormant for far too long. It was a kiss filled with the promise of rediscovery, vulnerability, and all the hopes they had for the future. As they pulled away, breathless and wide-eyed, a laughter bubbled between them, a shared joy lighting up their hearts. "Well, that resolves any questions about our dynamic," Gina teased, a cheeky grin on her lips. "Indeed it does," Serena replied, her heart soaring. What do you say we start planning our trip to Paris together? We can explore the city, our exhibit, and our hearts. There's so much we have left to uncover. Perfect, said Gina, her excitement palpable. Let's do it. We'll make our way through galleries, cafes, and galleries of love. Their laughter filled the studio, mingling with the paint and the dreams surrounding them. They spent the rest of the night sketching out plans for their Parisian adventure, each idea wrapped in an intoxicating air of possibility. A few weeks later, the night of the exhibit in Paris arrived. Serena stood before a vibrant array of their collective works, the gallery bursting with colors and reflections of their journey. Friends, artists, and strangers moved through the space, admiring and discussing the pieces that encapsulated the various forms of love, joyous, melancholic, complicated, and free. In that bustling room, Serena and Gina stood hand in hand, their faces glowing in the soft light, proud of what they had accomplished. With each new person who admired their work, Serena felt a warmth blossoming in her chest, not just for where they had come, but for the road stretching ahead. As the night progressed, they exchanged knowing glances across the room, laughter dancing between them like the familiar rhythm of their hearts. Together, they shared in the thrill of their success, savoring each moment. Finally, as the crowd began to dwindle, they slipped outside under the glittering Parisian skyline. The Seine shimmered beneath the starlit sky, reflecting the warmth of their reclaimed love. I never thought we'd be here like this, Gina said softly, leaning against the railing. What a beautiful journey we've had. I know, Serena replied, taking a deep breath of the warm night air, and it's only the beginning. I'm so grateful for you, every step of the way. Gina turned to face her with utmost seriousness. And I'm grateful for you, too. We've grown so much, and we have so much more to explore together. With the weight of their past struggles behind them and the future stretching ahead, they intertwined their fingers, both feeling a sense of promise. Whatever happens, I'll always be by your side, Gina said, pulling Serena closer. I know, Serena whispered, feeling an overwhelming surge of love. And I'm ready for anything with you. Under the enchanting lights of the city, they shared another lingering kiss, this one filled with all the love they had fought to reclaim. It was a promise for tomorrow, for the uncertainties ahead, and for the journey that would unfold together. With peace settling into their hearts, they turned back toward the gallery as a new chapter of their lives began, intertwined by a bond forged through courage, love, and endless second chances.